It's a beautiful morning in the jungle, and today Brian and I are heading over to our French expat friends Isabel and Joelle's house for a pizza party. They have a really cool pizza oven, and so we're going to head over there and they're going to make pizza for us. Well, we don't like to go empty-handed, and we don't have a grocery store handy, so every time we go over to Isabel and Joelle's, we go through the garden and take things for them that we know that they'll enjoy. All right, so we're going to start with, and so basically I'm doing this video to show you like some of the things that are on our property too, because it's kind of fun. So this big, huge vine here is a, well, Brian, can you zoom in on one of these and see if they can figure out what this is? What kind of vine do you think this is? It's a peppercorn vine. So all of those little green things are peppers, and this vine was here when we purchased the property. And the funny thing is that it's pretty famous around here, because when we told people that we had purchased this specific property, they would say, "Oh, did you? Is that pepper vine still living?" Because I guess for whatever reason it's a little difficult to get the peppers started here. Once you get them started, they do pretty good, apparently, as this one has. It was on a really bad trellis that was falling down. The bush had covered a good chunk of it. So we went through and we put this construction grid up and fixed its trellis, and it is taking off. So what happens is it starts, I don't have any, well, here's a little one. I have to watch out because I have herbs down here I don't want to step on. But it starts out like smaller than this. Like this is an immature one. So it'll be just like a stick that comes down with like these tiny little dots on it. And then the tiny little dots start to grow and grow and grow until they get to like this size. And then Isabel, you know, she's French, and so she really knows how to cook, like really knows how to cook. So she takes these and she does special things with the green ones. But if you leave them, they'll turn red. And then once they turn red, you can pull them off and dry them, and they'll turn into those black peppercorns that you put in the grinder. So I'm going to pull a few of these off for Isabel, because I have actually given her cuttings of this vine, but hers aren't quite ready yet. So I'm trying to find some nice mature ones here. She will definitely appreciate these. 1, 2, 3. Those are the good mature ones. Okay, so we're going to take these over to Isabel. All right, let's see what else we can find on the property that she might enjoy. All right, so the next thing that I'm going to take over to Isabel's is something else that she doesn't have on her property. She has extensive gardens, like extensive. They grow everything, but I have a few things she doesn't have, like the peppers, and this plant, which is called Cocona. These I got as very small plants, like about this high, probably about maybe 6 to 7 months ago. And then I've planted them and they started to fruit. So you can see all of the fruit in here. They're very prolific. In fact, you can get about 60 pounds of fruit off of one plant, which is pretty amazing. When it's ripe, it turns yellow, like these underneath here. And these Cocona are in the tomato family. So when you cut them open, they have a very kind of tart taste to them. And I have heard that if you put a sweetener on them, like a honey or a stevia, that it really brings out these tropical flavors. I'll do a whole video on Cocona at some point. We actually cut some up and put in a salad last night for the first time, because this is this is the first time that they've really started getting ripe for us. And it was good. It's very tart. You definitely need something a little sweet to kind of counteract it, but a very interesting fruit. Comes from South America, and like I said, I'll be doing a video all about this fruit at some point in the future once we learn a little bit more about it and the best way to use it. So make sure you subscribe so you get that information. So when you take these, you want to take the ones that are yellow. And it's crazy because the ants really like this plant. So you also have to watch out for the ants because they're usually all over it. So I have a few that are yellow. And you can see the ants. Ugh. I don't know what it is about this plant, but they like to be all over it. But the fruit itself, when it's on the vine and it's green, it has like all these little hairs all over it. Here, Brian. Right here. See all these little hairs? Like that. And so then, yeah, when it's ripe, you can just wipe them away. And this is what you end up with, that and ants. So I'm going to pick Isabel a few of these, and we'll take those to her house too. All right, we walked around to the other side, and this is where my pumpkin patch is. It looks more like a weed patch, but I promise it's producing pumpkins. Timo, he brought me a pumpkin, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and I took the seeds out of it. After I ate it, I took the seeds out, and I planted some of the seeds, and it took off. They warned me that the pumpkin would take over the whole property, and they were kind of right. I think this is maybe 3 or 4 plants. They're all underneath the house. They've all run around there. They're overtaking my compost bins. They're everywhere. So I had asked Isabel if she would like a pumpkin, and she said, oh yes please, and she's very jealous that I have pumpkins. So we're going to come through, and I'm going to show you kind of how to check for the ripeness on it. So here's one here. So if you get close, Brian, so they can hear. It doesn't quite sound hollow, but if you come over here to this one, it has more of a hollow kind of twang to it. I know that one isn't ripe. Let me check this one over here. That one, the biggest one, is the ripest one so far. I have a really big one here. I think this one maybe. Oh yeah, that one you can definitely tell. Okay, so I'm gonna take this one for her. Oh, that's a nice one. She's gonna like that. Okay, we've moved from the bottom of our property up to the top of our property, and this is our guava tree, and it's producing really well right now. It's probably hard to see on the camera because they're small, but I've harvested 4 of them. I mean, these just smell like the tropics to me. Like, I love them so much. So usually, because they're really high up and they're hard to see, I pick them up off the ground. So I just look for the green ones and then feel them that they should be a little bit soft, but not too soft, and that they don't have any major blemishes. Minor blemishes we deal with in the jungle. But yeah, pick them, perfect in smoothies, or I eat them just like apples. So does Selva. Our huge mango tree is producing right now and dropping a lot of mangoes. So we usually check the ones on the ground first to see if they're ripe. But this is our mango tree, one of about 4 that we have here on the property. So Brian is finding some beautiful ones for Isabel. Put those in the bag. Oops. That way. Okay. All right. Are there any on the tree that look worth trying for right now?
Yeah.
Cool.
That's the best one so far.
All right. Okay, so we'll let Brian show you how he does this.
Good thing about this basket is you can pick multiple mangoes.
All right, let's see what you got. Selva, did you find a mango? You like mango? Oh yeah, that big one looks good.
Yeah, this one looks pretty good.
This
one's a little green,
green.
but
she can make that green mango salsa
yeah,
from it.
She does that green mango salsa. That's really good.
Okay. All right, I think that is it for mangoes. Okay, so up here we have coconuts. Lots of them. This is where we usually harvest them from. We have some down at the bottom of the property too. When they're green like this, these are the ones that are good for getting the sweet coconut water out. Then as they get older, that's when you want to get them for meat and milk. So we're going to take some young coconuts to Isabel for coconut water. And Selva's going to get a concussion. Selva, come here. Come here. There you go. It's a little bit trickier of a thing. I mean, especially when it's so far. Woo! There's one. There's two. This is what they look like when they get old. They get this brown husk on the outside, so you take that off, and then there's a coconut inside of there, and then you can get the meat and make milk out of it. But we're not doing those right now. We're doing these young ones. Beautiful. I had to check and make sure I shaved my armpit lately. Okay, this is our bayrum tree. It is used to make tea, and especially used to make tea for medicinal purposes, like a joint pain and things like that. I had a guy here from Mi Ambiente, the environmental agency, that was planting trees, and he was like, "Oh, is that a bayrum tree? Can I please have some?" I was like, "Sure." I'll take some to Isabel. So the leaves you can make into a tea, and the smell, it's like cinnamon and cloves. It smells so good. So I've never taken her this before, so I know she's going to enjoy this. So this is my vivero, and I have seeds that I germinate, and I have plants that I buy, and this is the place they all go until they're ready to go into the ground. I have a lot of mature plants right now that can't go into the ground because we haven't had regular rain, and trying to water them by hand all over the property is too difficult, so they're just waiting for it to rain again. So I'm going to be taking Isabel 2 different types of plants today. I usually take her something that I've germinated. These are tomatoes. They are a Hawaiian variety, seeds that I purchased in the United States that are designed for the heat and the humidity and the rain. So I'm going to take her a couple of these. This one, I think, and I will take her this one. These are good. I'll take her a couple of these, and then as we move down the vivero, these are cantaloupe that I germinated from seeds that I bought at the veggie stand. So just cut open a cantaloupe, took the seeds out, popped them into pots, and I actually have 100% germination rate on these cantaloupes. Crazy. So I'm going to take her a couple of these. These have 2 each in them, so I'm going to take those to her. So she will be happy to put these in her garden. All right, so let's see everything that Isabel is going to be getting today. So she's got 2 pumpkins from the garden, the red bananas, 2 tomato plants, 4 cantaloupe plants, some bayrum leaves for tea, coconut, 3 cocona, 4 guava, 3 peppercorns, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 mangoes. So this is what we're taking over as our hostess gift today. And we don't even have to leave the property. And she's going to appreciate every bit of it and use every bit of it, which is even better. And so in exchange, we're going to get a delicious pizza out of her oven. I'm not sure if she wants me to film at her house, but if she'll let me, I'll take a little bit of video for the pizza.